Welcome to the Narrowboat that James built. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining me. Well, I've popped up to the boat quickly to do some more blacking, if I'm honest. There's a few other bits I want to do on the stern deck as well. I had to go to the builder's yards. Whilst I was down in London, I picked up some more bits and pieces. So, yeah, let's get cracking. I had to pick up some bits. 4 more of those boards. Well, actually, 2 of those boards, just had them cut them in half. Some more bitumen and some more Bethnal green. And a Diet Coke. It's baking out here.
I'm checking to see that I can reach the prop through the weed hatch. Now the deck's been raised, which was, in fairness, quite a valid remark by a few people. The good news is I can, and I've also been using these pond gloves that Carol got me. Check these things out. These are fantastic. Really grippy. Pretty hot in the summer, but so that's good. I can access that.
I've now blacked the boat for the final time, all over. So gone through another 5 litres of bitumen. And I think that should be me done now, blacking wise. That's a relief. I've paid a particular effort to the kind of the top edge, because now I need to kind of do some final detail work, like all around there. That's cream all there, that needs to be green. I need to do cream in all the uprights still. I need to do the tiller again. Just need to keep doing it basically. This has arrived today for me. I'll open that in a minute. Wash up after this bitumen.
It's a blanket. That's very nice. Lovely. Well, thank you very much. There's no note with that. Well, thanks whoever sent that. Yeah, there's no note with that. Oh, well, thank you. That'll come in handy for the winter months. Doesn't feel like it today, but in England we're only a day away from freezing cold weather. Thank you very much. Right, let me talk to you about the stern deck. So, loads of people brought it up in the channel yesterday about how am I going to access it, what happens if there's a fire, how's the engineer going to access it. Those thoughts had crossed my mind. So, the weed hatch, you'll be relieved to know, works. I can access it. It's a bit tricky to actually open the actual hatch. You know, most of them have got just one winder, takes a bar out, and off comes the hatch. So it's a little bit more involved than that, but it was anyway, so that's no big deal. But the most important thing is I can reach the prop. The batteries, as I said, those 3 panels at the end, they are going to be affixed as one, and they're going to be able to slide out. As it currently is, I could actually potentially put it on a hinge on one side, but otherwise it would just slide out. In terms of accessing the engine, obviously I knew I'd have to access it for general repairs, but also for, you know, like a full service. If the engine needs to be hoisted out, then obviously, you know, it's a massive issue, and I'll have to take the deck up, but I'm really hoping that's not going to be the case. And obviously accessing the engine for general maintenance and stuff like that is not going to be done by unscrewing the deck, because that would be ludicrous. So the idea was, and what I haven't still worked out, is how many boards it's going to be. But basically, where the weed hatch is there, these 4 boards or 3 boards or maybe whatever are going to raise up. By most of them, it's going to expose all of the engine all the way up to the gearbox and the prop shaft. And the way I'm doing it is with these gas struts. So these came a few days ago. The only problem is that with gas struts is that it's quite a specific, it's a specific weight ratio that you need in order to get the right strut. This is a 1,000 newtons, which is, I think, going to be too much. I thought I was going to be raising more than I was. Now I've laid the deck, I think it's probably going to be, as I said, maybe 3 boards that are going to come up. So I'm going to do some testing with this. Obviously I have to weigh the boards and everything like that, and it's also dependent on where you actually place where you kind of bolt the height of this as it fixes onto the door, basically. But that's the plan with that. So that's going to kind of tilt up on those gas struts. So I've just got to do a few more calculations and work out the exact kind of maths of it, basically, and how best to do it. But that's going to allow me access to all of the engine, or when I say me, it'll be me for doing basic things like oil change and stuff like that. But in terms of an engineer getting in to the main parts of it, it'll be through the top there. Yes, the only difference is now is that there's a big joist running through the middle of it, but it is at a position where it's, it's not really going to get in the way much. It's a fiddly thing anyway. Narrowboat engines, they're not, not all of them are very easily accessible, so it's not going to be any kind of major grief to an engineer. But you'll also be able to access it through the side panel down there, through the side panel down here, and if the engineer is quite small, like I am, you can crawl through underneath the gas locker, underneath this bit here, and into the engine. So you can access it all, but basically. There was one comment, like, if there's a fire, well, if there's a fire, you're up shit creek, aren't you? Like, no matter what. There'll be a fire extinguisher out here, but I'll be able to easily flip that up, squirt it onto the engine, put the fire out, please God. Otherwise, I guess you just jump ship, don't you? Anyway, that's hopefully my explanation of the stern deck. So everything will be accessible, and yeah, should be fine.
Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you will realise that this is not part of the main things to do before the crane, but this is kind of linked to the deck. So that's my justification for doing this little bit of paint work around here. The deck looks really good, apart from this kind of rail going around it, which is covered in cream and should be in Bethnal green. So I had to put loads of cream on it to make sure that when I cut in on this line, I had a nice, well, it just worked well, basically. And it has done. So I'm just going to carry on doing this. Then I need to do the cream uprights. I need to go over with more cream. So I've just got loads of this to do. But I'm just kind of taking the opportunities as they come. But this was always kind of staring me in the face, this particular job. I'm going to put some boxing around the tiller arm there going down. It's currently covered in grease and it's all horrible. So I'll put some boxing or casing around it, just revealing the bearing at the top. And the same thing goes here where the filler hose is for the diesel tank. I'll put some kind of casing or boxing around that to match. And the gear lever right in front of you needs to be adorned with paint as well. I think I'm going to do it in Bethnal green, with some Manchester red on it and a bit of cream. But the main thing that is puzzling me still is I need to get my hands on a good knob. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. I've got to do all the cream again. But it's getting late now. and I've got a meeting first thing in the morning in Kent on the south coast. So I've got to get my stuff together and black the bottom of the boat quickly. As much as I'm up against it time-wise, so I kind of have to take this opportunity to black the boat. It is actually kind of easier to black the boat at night than it is, well, the underneath of it, than it is during the daytime. The reason for it is that at daytime, when you're underneath it, looking up, you've got the bright sky above you, and you basically can't see any of the black or what you've done. It makes it really hard. But at night time, you don't have that problem, and using the light there is actually much easier. I've just been doing a bit of tidying up. I've got to leave now and go back to London. I've got a meeting tomorrow morning in Kent, and then tomorrow back up here. I've got Saki Bugger coming up tomorrow, so that's why I'm trying to make it look, well, it doesn't, I mean, it's a ship here, but at least there's somewhere for him to sit down. And Saki, I've got, where are they? Oh, here they go. You said you're up. You said you don't want to do any blacking, but you're up for a bit of light electrical work. Well, I got in my new cable. This is 3mm cable. I know I've only been running off one battery, but I am seeing a little bit of voltage drop right at the front of the bow. Obviously, that's only with one battery, but I'm putting up there some power sockets. So I just want to make sure that they've got enough juice to get up there. So this chunky 3mm cable, so Saki can do that. And I've got some little switches, they've come as well, so I needed to crack on. So there's a few jobs for you to do there, because I've got to do some more blacking tomorrow. I've just got a little bit more to do. I'm just driving myself mad with it. John walked past earlier and he said, if you put any more blacking on that boat, you're not going to fit through a lock. But I don't know, I've just want to get it as thick and as good as it can be. But anyway, I also really want to make progress on the step in the deck as well tomorrow. So I've got some more timber in for that. Just got to work out the kind of the height of that step and everything like that. And there's got an area there for the leisure battery to go behind it. But yeah, I'm really happy with the deck. I've done a bit of research on it, actually, really kind of geeky research, and basically that board, even though it says to put in a little gap, kind of a 5mm gap, the reality is it doesn't budge an inch. They have to say, kind of, if you like, just to cover themselves, that there could be some expansion or contraction of the material, but the reality is they don't. They tested it, they put it underwater for 6 months and it didn't change. It weighed the same, it came out and is exactly the same kind of density. So I kind of think I'm going to do away with the little gaps. There is kind of gaps at either end, but I'm going to do away with the gaps in the middle, which does mean it lines up much nicer. There's going to have to be a little gap where the big boards move up to get access to the engine. But there's not going to be, so, you know, I might have to kind of mirror that gap all the way through, just so it doesn't look a bit odd. But yeah, that's a plan for really tomorrow, if I can do that. The other thing I've really got to do before crane day is take all these batteries off the boat. All the old ones have got to go. I think I've got 6 on here at the moment, so they've got to go. I filled up the car with a whole load of stuff that I don't need anymore, like my plug-in heater and like the Hoover, that's got to go. So yeah, there's a whole load of stuff which is kind of signifies a change in conditions on board the boat. So that's quite exciting. So I'll be back here tomorrow with Saki Bugger, yeah, last day is tomorrow before crane day on Wednesday. So I'll get the blacking done. I will speak to the crane operator about me doing the little Brazilian, or the 2 Brazilians underneath the I've got one at the stern and one at the bow where it's been resting on the chocks. So I'll ask him to do that. Just, I don't know why, it's not going to make any difference. Well, it won't make any difference, but because I'm only putting on 1 coat, everything else has had 4, but it's better than nothing, I guess. And it'll stop everyone saying, oh, you should have blacked everything. Anyway, right, that's it. I've got to go back to London. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.